Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're hopping right back into our life. We're continuing where we left off in the introduction to step 3. So without further ado, let's hop in. Whew. Just tried to hide a yawn behind her hands. You weren't the only one feeling worn out. I'll be heading up to your room, the guest room, since mine stopped being available as soon as I was out the door. Her tone was light. She had quite a lot to say on the subject when you'd first taken over her bigger room after she left for college. There have been many trips back home for her since then. The room hasn't been hers for years. It was more like a running joke now that she continued to bring up the topic to this day. Let it go, Liz. I didn't see your name on it. Thank you, Liz. It was a really nice room. Thank you for being so gracious about giving up. Just wanted to fill in my big sister's shoes. I'm sorry. Flattery is a compliment can only go so far, Ari. A small laugh was shared between you and your older sister. You better believe you'll be back in the guest room when you've got your own place and we're both in town for a visit. We can take turns. You'll have Thanksgiving. I'll get Christmas. Sure. Don't count on it. That's alright with me. I don't need it. What a reasonable and mature suggestion. I'll think about accepting it. The flash her familiar grin and you couldn't help but feel glad she was back around even if it was temporary. With that said, she plodded off to the spare room. You were ready to do the same. Moving into a new space was your first opportunity to decorate from scratch. We get to design our room. So, blue, green, purple, or yellow. I know I've done yellow and I've done... I think I've only done yellow. But I really like the green. I think we'll go with green this time. We'll put stuff. Wall stuff. I like the lights more. Yeah, I think those are done. That'll be good. You're satisfied with the feel of your tiny part of the world. You dragged your weary body into your bedroom. Your bed beckoned. After arriving, you laid down on it, staring up at the ceiling as you mused over how to spend your evening and thought back on the day's events. With the dizzy bay behind you, it was nice to have some space to purely think. Time slipped by, the evening turning into night. The peace was broken by a buzz of the doorbell. You answered it. Coming up from the bed, you casually went downstairs to see who was there. You reached the door, unexpected, sure to get, given how the day went, how far out you lived from your age. It was unusual to have people stopping by unannounced. Shockingly, Cove Holden met you on the other side. It was something that had happened many times in your life, but you hadn't realized he was back in the neighborhood.
Hey.
Oh! Hey, Ari, happy graduation. His appearance and his message only surprised you further. You wondered how long he'd been around for. Living so close by meant that it was hard to miss when he was there. However, this was about the first time you'd seen him this summer. Hello, I thought you'd never come back. Happy graduation to you too. What do you want? Sup, man? Happy graduation. Thanks. Encouraged by your response, Co smiled brightly at you. Mostly I was just checking in. Your moms wanted to know when I'd be home, with it being pretty long trip and everything. Could you tell them for me? Sure. Nope. You nodded. You shrugged. Why did they care about that? Sorry they bothered you about that. Sure. It wasn't if relaying the message would cost you more than a few seconds. Thanks, I appreciate it. He raised a hand to wave.
Bye.
Bye, I guess I'll see you around this summer? Hey, not so fast. I actually got something for your graduation. Cove raised his eyebrows incredulously but stopped in his tracks. You didn't have to do that. And unless you're interested in loose change and pocket lint, I don't have anything for you. You shook your head, dismissed the comment. I didn't expect anything. It just felt right. It was a spur of the moment. It was a random act of madness. I like giving gifts. I kind of regret doing this, but here we are. It just felt right. Wait here. Alright. You'd gotten Cove, a dolphin balloon, a fruit bouquet, decorations for his requirement, a box of strawberry swirl ice cream cups. Dolphin. He ran over to the closet where he'd stashed it, the unwielding animal-shaped balloon, preventing it from floating away. He pulled it out and headed back to the door, then presented the bobbing behind you every step until you came to a stop and presented the string to Cove. His curious expression gave way to a smile as his hand wrapped around the string, tugging the balloon out from where it had hidden above the door frame and into full view.
Cool.
Hey, cool. He looked happy, as though you'd gotten the impression hadn't clicked for him in the same way it had when you picked it out. To him, it was just a nice celebratory balloon. It made a bit unorthodox for the graduation gift, but a pleasant gesture. He connected it to the balloon he'd lost all those years ago. It was fine, though. Cove liked it, and that was what counted. Cove looked up from his gift and back at you. Thanks, this is really thoughtful of you. I feel bad I didn't do the same. I am nice, aren't I? And you're welcome. And as you hadn't been expecting, Cove, the news you'd been meaning to tell him had slipped from your mind, and he turned up unexpectedly. It came back to you now. I have to tell you, you're never going to guess who I saw today. You didn't give Cove a chance to reply. There was seriously no way that he'd figure it out. Shiloh.
Huh?
Shiloh. Cove repeated the name, his expression bright. From when we were kids. Cove pondered for a moment, then snapped his fingers. Oh, he was the freckled boy from that first summer, right? The one who moved? The guy was named Shiloh, and he looked just like Shiloh from back then. He was still wearing a hat. But he had no idea who I was and ran off somewhere. Cove frowned. That's, I don't know, too bad I missed it. Though you knew him better than I did. That was definitely true. Not only had Cove known Shiloh for a shorter time period, but he and Shiloh had never quite gotten along. Not that they were enemies either, just kids who were only ever together because of the people they both knew. I wonder what Shiloh is up to these days. I don't have any idea. He didn't say much. Oh well. That was everything you had on that news item, so you moved on to the next big update. Also, you know that mean old neighbor, the ones who always yell at us? He cringed, recalling the particular memories back in the day. It was pleasant for him, even as nostalgic for him. Yeah? They're not coming. They didn't rent the condo this summer. Cove's jaw dropped. You didn't blame him. The elderly couple had been an institution for as far back as you could remember, long predating Cove's arrival. Even now, as a teenager, you found your neck prickling as soon as you walked by the condo, half expecting a scolding for breathing the wrong way in the vicinity of their vacation home. It was strange to think that it was coming to an end. Wow. Cove blinked, clearly struggling with the idea in the same way you had. I didn't see that coming. People being gone, people coming back. It feels like I missed a lot. This has been a busy summer already. Well, you haven't missed the fireflies. They haven't shown up yet. Thanks for keeping me in the loop. But I'm gonna get going now. See you. You just caught him turning to head home as you closed the door behind him. Neighborly duties dispensed, you could go back to your evening. It seemed that no sooner had the night begun than it was already at an end, and the dawn of a new day was upon you. The next morning your belly was full of breakfast, and you were in a pleasant mood. You hoped the rest of the day followed suit. Initially, you didn't have any plans for the day. Your friend roped you into meeting up to go into town later. Since Cove was finally back home, Miranda and Terry couldn't wait to come down to the neighborhood. Having a nice daydream? You blinked, pushing all your thoughts away and returning to reality. Your mom was watching you with a teasing smile. So what's on the agenda today? Meeting up with some people. Well, I hope you and your friends have fun. Don't get into too much trouble. She winked at you, and both of your moms wanted you to enjoy every bit of this summer before all the big changes started. I'll try.
That'd be great.
But before you go gallivanting around town, could you bring in the mail? Mail in. I'm finishing up putting the dishes away over here. All right. Thanks very much. As soon as you were outside your front door, you couldn't help but see Cove and his dad standing around in the road as they noticed you too. Hey there, Ari. Hi, good morning. You should come join us. Hi, Cove. Hi, Mr. Holden.
So
what are you up to today? Me and Cove are meeting some friends later. We're gonna paint the town red. Exciting. They won't know what hit him. Cove shook his head disapprovingly, but you knew him well enough to tell that he was entertained by your notion. Yawning, Mr. Holden stretched his arms out over his head. My boy and I have just been waiting around to see what the new neighbors are like. It was definitely his idea. I don't know how you're not interested in this. It's big news. Besides, it'd only be polite to greet the new folk in town. Maybe it's a single dad and his son. You've been here too long. If seeing a new person rent a condo is what you consider exciting, yes, I'm dying to see newcomers. You just shrug. I don't want to meet them. Well, anybody has to be better than the last tenants. Ah, newcomers. Ari gets it. Cove raised an eyebrow. Really, you too? Yeah, it could be anyone. The beach attracts all kinds of people. Cove thought about your words for a few seconds and then nodded understandingly. I guess. Mr. Holden took one more glance at the currently vacant building and sighed dramatically. When he turned back to you and Cove, his whole body seemed deflated. There's no sign of them, and I still need to head to work soon. Cove gave his dad a few reassuring pats on the back. Okay, I promise to keep an eye out. If I can text you if anything happens. Really?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, only until I have to meet up with Terry and Miranda. Would that still work? With a wild grin breaking out on his face, Mr. Holden looked absolutely thrilled to have his nonsense enabled. That works. He moved firmly place hands over Cove's shoulders, fixing his child with a firm stare. Son, you were my true ally in this world. Mr. Holden stood up straighter, letting Cove go. He looked reinvigorated. Okay, with that settled, I'll go make some money. That's always been the one thing I do best. Mr. Holden headed off to the garage with a big wave goodbye. Cove smiled the whole time you both watched his dad leave. You really liked Mr. Holden? Mr. Holden was one of your favorite people. Cove's dad was never bothered. He had mixed feelings of Holden. We really liked Mr. Holden. You had for a long time. As soon as he was out of sight, Cove sighed lightly. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just not looking forward to waiting. I guess I'll be hanging around the street a while. Good luck. See you later. I'll stick around to see the neighbor. Why don't I stay to see the new neighbor and keep you company? Curious about the new tenant was getting the better of you. If you figured that the wait wouldn't be too much longer, and besides, you just couldn't leave Cove. Cove gave you an odd look, but then he chuckled. What? Sometimes you're just like my dad, like how you're also invested in this new neighbor thing. Oh. He awkwardly scratched the back of his neck, looking away from you. Clearly, he was trying to find the right way to word his thoughts. It's just funny. And thanks for saying I could use the company. No problem. He smiled at his admission, feeling satisfied. Cove then stepped over from his porch steps, lazily taking a seat, leaning back on his arms. Our watch begins. Nodding agreement, you joined Cove. You both sat there in familiarity as you settled in for the waiting game for the new tenants. Neighborhood was quiet, and you sighed contentedly, closing your eyes and feeling the light breeze. Eventually, you both perked up at the sound of a car, a taxi following the noise turning onto the street. Cove's eyebrows raised to the sight and sat up straight to the stoop. This has to be them, right? The only people who come out here live here, so it has to be. You leaned forward, sitting on the edge of the front steps. You couldn't wait to finally put an end to the suspense and get a look at the new neighbor. The taxi pulled into a stop as you expected in front of the now empty condo. It was on the same side as the street as your house, a few buildings further up. Without getting to his feet, Cove tried leaning and tilting his head to get the view of the passenger door as it opened. The single occupant exited the cab. Huh? You could feel what Cove was in that moment. After the last renters, this new visitor was definitely not exactly what you'd expected. Ooh, we love Baxter. Oh, this man. A young man, had to be close to your own age. He was dressed fully in an electric black and white gray outfit, and even his side-swooping hair matched his scheme. Okay.
Excellent.
Woo. Why do I always hit the wrong button? Ugh. Thank you. The only other pop of color was from something that couldn't easily be fashioned into submission, a pair of dark brown eyes, which you caught caught when he looked over at his audience.
Excellent.
Oh my god. Fucking hate every time. I would just like to say, I've been recording a while. My sense of everything, not great. Where the buttons are on the keyboard, not working. Hey folks, who might you be? We're the neighbors. His smile, already prominent on his face, curled further. It was cocky, but you didn't get the impression it meant something adverse. Hallelujah. You and Cove shared a similar look, with another bewilderment even further. The color coordination man left it there, however, and switched with a firm click. He shut the door. To his right, he turned his back to you to retrieve a large, unsurprisingly black suitcase out of the trunk. Continuing with his own business, he strolled forward and lightly tapped on the driver's window with his knuckle, asking them to roll it down. He opened it, he leaned over and rested his arm on the edge. You assumed he was thanking the driver for getting him there and considering slipped them a tip during the brief chat. They shook hands, and he pushed himself up and away from the taxi, with both arms giving the driver room to leave. The taxi pulled away, rolling carefully down the road and out of sight around the corner. The new renter had officially arrived. He left his suitcase on the ground out of the way of the street and sauntered over to your way with the confidence of someone who had been invited to join. Cove finally stood up and greeted the person followed suit.
Excellent.
I'm Baxter Ward. It's excellent to meet you, neighbors. You were standing on the side he was approaching from. When Baxter got close enough, he offered his hand to you first. You shook it. You offered him a low five. You held your arms open for a hug instead. You kept your distance. We will shake his hand. Baxter gripped your hand firmly to give you a satisfying shake. Welcome to Sunset Bird, Bastard. I almost said bastard. Baxter, I'm Ari. Hi, Ari. I'm quite keen on getting to know you better this summer. We could be good friends. And you are? He lifted his hand out for Cove next. Cove shook his hand, still eyeing Baxter carefully. I'm Cove. Baxter's whole demeanor lit up for unknown reasons, his eyes shone as he studied Cove's movement.
Really?
Now wait, is that a nickname or your real name? It's just my name. Cove spoke mildly, having given that explanation many times in the past, but it clearly charmed Baxter all the same. He tossed his head to one side with a laugh. Your parents knew exactly what they were doing. I can't imagine a more fitting name for the face I am seeing. Cove, that's gorgeous.
What?
It's really not. No, I agree, it suits you.
Not
Nice to see
bad.
someone else knows. The impact might have faded for you living with it this long, but I promise to the onlookers it's a knockout. Cove couldn't face either of you after that. His cheeks were quickly turning bright red with embarrassment. You noticed Baxter looked apologetic over Cove's increased discomfort. Sorry, I wasn't intending to mean more than it did. I like your name, but you don't have to mind that. I am patently against stepping on anyone's toes. He chuckled to himself. It seemed like there was some extra meaning hidden there in his words, and you noticed that Cove raised an eyebrow, picking up on that too. Baxter didn't even open his eyes to see your face to know he had some filling to do. He stood up straighter, striking straight pose with the position of his feet. I'm a ballroom dancer, hence the phrasing. Oh, I don't know much about dancing, but that's pretty cool. It's not hard once you get the basics down. Cove didn't look convinced at all. Baxter took that as a cue to keep talking. Well, he grinned in a way that was rapidly becoming familiar to you. If either of you are ever looking for a partner, I'm available. Cove frowned at the overt forwardness. Thanks, I'll pass, I think. I'll take you up on that offer sometime. I'd rather not. I'll probably show you some moves. You didn't answer the question. I'll take you up on that. I look forward to that then. After all that, there was a lonely conversation, and Cove attempted to fill it. What made you decide on Sunset Bird? Oh, yes, well, my parents rented a condo. I had a place to stay while I'm off for a semester from college and not living in the dorms. There was a playful glint in Baxter's eyes as he continued. Ideally, they wanted to send me somewhere that wasn't too exciting, but luckily for me, they picked the wrong street considering the two of you live here. Cove was practically reeling over how Baxter found a way to fit comments like that into every single topic thus far. Why do you keep doing that? You don't know us, but you talk like you already do. Cove spoke firmly, genuinely confused, and Baxter smiled cautiously. I don't feel the need to keep words of praise to myself, and when I say something like that, I mean it.
See?
Plus, what's the point of spending my off semester alone? The best part of being somewhere new is getting to interact with new people. And I am honestly the first person who's acknowledged your attractive and intriguing people. True, you are hidden away in this tiny tourist trap, but still, Baxter crossed his arms after studying your faces a few more seconds, decided to continue. But I'm only not trying to score a hookup or get romantic fling started by saying those things. No, that isn't the point of speaking well of others. I was raised better than that. So, I would be fussed if that's what my words led to. Also, no.
Hmm?
I am flexible, not surprised. I can back off with the lines if you don't like the intention, but I would like to be friends if we can. Cove wasn't sure how to respond. He glanced at you and continued to look face when he spoke. Thanks for answering. I don't think I'm interested in that. Maybe not the friend thing, but the other part. It doesn't bother me. I'd appreciate if you didn't do that with me. I'm finding it pretty entertaining. You're probably annoy a lot of people. You sit there and sure how to act. I'm finding it pretty entertaining. It doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. Glad we're working things out. He shifted his weight to other foot. Baxter tried to move forward. So, since you were already here, did my arrival erect anything? Definitely not. He smiled and silently agreed. You laughed and spirited away. You looked away nervously. You told Baxter you were both waiting to see who was going to move in. Our, all we were doing was waiting for you to finally show up. Baxter laughed at that, immensely pleased with your response. I'm getting a reputation in this town already. Not bad. Well, if either of you are free, I'd be thrilled to hang out this summer, but we can save the schedule talk for later. I should get my things inside. He gave a small nod and headed of the head and flashed you both a dazzling smile.
Goodbye.
Goodbye for today. Bye. Cove gave a small wave as well. Bye. Baxter then turned up his heels and strode over to the back to his suitcase, picking up and bringing it to his condo. You and Cove were silent as Baxter unlocked the door and disappeared inside the house. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to hit like and subscribe. That way YouTube brings you back, because we're still not done. Still not done. Anyway, I won't keep you anymore. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.